Hello everyone, I'm Cynthia from G6. The topic for my speech today is the balance of justice. Okay, let me ask you a question first. Have you ever been faced injustice before? Please raise your hand. I do, and I'm going to share a story with you. One summer vacation, our family went to Xinjiang for a trip. That day was very hot, like 37 Celsius. We're lined up for the booking, and unfortunately, there are millions of people. The long waiting time plus the extremely hot temperature, many people quickly became impatient and bored. A woman with heavy makeup were in fashion, led by the scenic spot's senior administrator. The administrator whispered to her and then laughed. He secretly let the woman enter the scenic spot gate. I was like, very mad. Why can't she do it? And it's the time that I saw a group of people start agitating, and they jumped in the line too. After a while, the tourists in the back jumped in their line as well. They began to push and shove. The scene was horrible. Everyone was shouting and yelling. A kid was accidentally trampled by the restless people. As a result, everyone will suffer and no one will benefit. I am very furious and doubt. Why did that administrator let the woman in while everyone else were waiting in a line? Why did people try to disrupt the order? And why? In our daily life, we will encounter a lot of injustice. From choosing the taller boy to play basketball, become rich overnight, teachers have different attitudes toward different students, unfair decisions by referees in the sport events, and so on. These unfair behaviors will make people anxious and negative and increase contradiction conflicts. In serious cases, it will even lead to social unrest. The report on inequality, released in 2014, shows that the world's richest people, who stand at 1% of the total population, have a total value of $100 trillion. Oxfam, a charity, found that the 8 richest super rich have the same wealth of half the world's population. This result clearly told us that there are still many poor people and injustice is not completely eliminated yet. Another data is about city key high school students having absolute advantages to enter key universities. And their proportion to enter key university is 10 times that of village key high school. Is this fair? It is not. Maybe you don't believe me, but this really happened, and it's not far from us. Speaking of this, I think that we all realize that justice is extremely important to our life. The world needs justice. Well, what is justice? Different people have different opinions. In my view, justice is uneven. It is the foundation, equality is the development, and fairness are the top level. You may be surprised. Why is justice uneven? It should be fair. Let's see together. If justice only means everyone gets the same portion, then why will people work so hard to get the same academic degree and some people who work not enough? Why will people yelling that they are so unlucky? Aristotle said, justice is the first virtue, more revered than the stars. In my opinion, justice is a matter of conscience and morality. The veil of ignorance is an experiment John Rawls proposed in the 20th century. There once was a group of people who likes eating cake very much. The problem is, they only have one cake each time. They first think of a solution, which is, find the most justice person in the group and let him to distribute the cake. However, after a long time, that person became a bit greedy and the cake distribution became unfair. They then think of another solution. Still, they will find a person to divide the cake, but that person will get the piece of cake at last. Now, everyone gets the same pieces because that person don't know whether he will get the smallest pieces. This statement is easy to understand. It told us that justice exists, but put an end to their own identity and private influence. Now, let's talk about how to increase justice. Setting up the rules is obviously the first thing we should do. To be wide and broad, we can establish fair rules and abide them, improve the cognitive level of the whole people, establish a sense of justice and equality, shape an honest personality, be kind to others, and revere the rules. Let's think in another way. If you are born in a very poor family, you have no money to buy medicine when you're sick, and you're worried to be sick of thirst and hunger in any minutes. Now, what will happen if you get no help from the world and just naturally go on? You'll soon die, and you'll always be stuck in the chain of poverty. However, there is another possibility. Imagine that if the world, the society, provide a warm place for you to live, a bunch of food which can let you feel a bit of hope not going to die, and a pile of clean clothes which can keep you warm. What will occur? In the single way you get the help from the world, your life won't be so hard again. You'll find that your life is valuable. It's just the same as any other house. Now, I'm not saying that this is totally impossible and you're not actually born poor. There's still many kids from the world doing labor, and they need the help from the world. I wish the world can be compassionate to those who have been treated unfairly and see how many benefits they can bring if they can willing to contribute for us and for the balance of justice. The balance of justice is a scale that contains two sides. One side of the balance said egoism, and one side of the balance is altruism. We need egoism side and altruism side to have the right and appropriate balance. Speaking of this, I think that each of you believes in one thing. On your growth path, there's lots and lots of people helping you. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your classmates. And this is the time for us to say thanks and repay. We need altruism to be the heavier side. This makes the justice world that we are yearning for. It will make our life happier and more free. At last, I want to appeal to the world that there's no poor people or rich people. There's only the justice world for all human beings. There's no black people or white people. There's only the different diversity and colorful culture. There's no body-able people or disability people. There's only the big effort that we make for the job of justice. Thank you very much.